minutes. Let's go.
Alrighty, welcome to episode 278 of Backpacking America. 3 episodes in one day. Y'all are getting a treat. And to finish off this treat, we got Etcetera on the other line. He is a award-winning artist, super cool dude. And we met, what, like almost a year ago at this point, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Damn, man.
yeah.
Time flies, bro.
It has. It has. It's crazy.
So you got a new album.
What's go Well, I have a new album coming. It's coming this the first quarter, meaning in February. The release date is going to be February 2nd, if I'm not mistaken. Um, and we're working on it now, the album release.
Nice. So what's this new album gonna be about? Like, can you give us some details about it?
Well, right now I'm working on two names.
Okay.
However, well, three names, but most likely the album's going to be called Sagittarius because that's my sign.
Nice.
December 10th, forever for always. So it's gonna be called Sagittarius, and it's gonna embody what a Sagittarius is. It's love, um, life, fun-loving, energetic, adventurous, enthusiastic. So I got some great features on this album. It's incorporated of the singles I dropped. It was a part of the album, but COVID sort of like pushed the singles around, but they're coming on an album with new improved records, and it's a global album. It's a global album. I'll let you know that.
Awesome. Oh, that sounds great, man. Well, I'm looking forward to it. So like what is so you've been all over the place. You've been all over the world really. And
Yeah.
a lot of people like, they try to make it big quick, and a lot of people don't understand the process it takes to build to that point. What is when you were you got some awards under your belt.
Mm,
You got some cool features. You got Tory Lanez as a feature on one of your songs. That was
mhm.
pretty dope. I listened to that. Um,
Thank you.
you're very welcome. You got all that under your belt. How did you? What was like your first step?
Um, my first step is I was a paper boy in Brooklyn. Let me stop. No, as far as musically, I just was a poet. I used to write poetry, and I was constantly on punishment.
Mm,
So, when you're on punishment, your mother say you can't listen to no, I mean, excuse me, look at no TV. So what I did was listen to the radio,
mm,
and I listened to a lot of radio, and I read a lot of books. So poetry is my first love. I started writing poetry, and then I started incorporating rap and poetry,
mm,
combining the two. And I met up with some people from my high school, which was Tone from Trackmasters, a gentleman named Smurf, which was a really a dope artist. And I met up with a partner of mine through my cousin. His name was Self. He had a production company in Brooklyn, and I started there. I started there as writing like little songs, and they made fun of me. They was like, "Oh, he's just popcorn music," and then I started ghostwriting,
mm.
and that was my sort of like my left hand into the music industry. And then, while I was doing extracurricular activities, like I was bowling, I met my man. We have a family friend named Al, and then he introduced me to a rapper that everyone knows. His name is Kwame, and then that was my professional hand into the industry from there. And the rest is like the rest is history.
Mm. Yeah, no, it's honestly it's just who you know and the dedication you put into your craft. Like
Well, yeah,
I can't emphasize the importance of being social. Like
yes,
going out and doing shit. Like that's how you meet people. Like I
right.
can't tell you how many like even for my business, like I've met so many people just because I decided, to go to Taco Bell one day. You know what I mean?
That's how I met you. That's
Exactly,
how I
yeah.
met you. I decided I wasn't gonna go, so I went to the showcase in Long Island where Energetic and Hot 97 and Def Jam and all of them were there. I was like, ah. So I went there, and that's how I met you. And then we started talking, and I was like, hey. And all of a sudden, I met another great person. I was like, that's amazing.
Isn't it
So,
crazy how it works like that, man? Like
yeah.
that was cool. That was really dope that we linked up like that. And man, we were talking about some crazy. We were talking about like politics and all that stuff too. We were talking about like
Yeah,
just
yeah,
what,
yeah.
yeah.
I don't usually talk about politics
No,
though,
no,
but
no,
yeah,
no,
it was
not on
good.
not on this, but like it was
Nah.
it was good vibes, man. And that's what people forget too. Like when it comes to starting shit, like you can't just stay in, you can't be stuck in your little like bubble. Like you have to break out your bubble. And
You can't.
nah, yeah, like people like, and it's cool to think like this. Oh, like me and the homies are gonna rise up together and we're gonna do our own thing. But it's like it's never really like that. Like you need to branch outside of your immediate group and just kind of like get used to meeting new people. And I feel like that's
Well,
a lost
that
lesson.
was a big thing. That was a big thing, not to interrupt you, but that was a big thing where um when I talk about I used to ghostwrite, I used to
Mm,
sit in the studio and watch artists come through, like Busta Rhymes, Talib Kweli, Das FX, Key, also like people from Diddy's camp. Then I used to watch like Queen Pen come through. So with that being said, no one gave me anything. I
mm,
sort of like sat in a room and made something happen out of nothing. And then like with Kwame, I always thank him so much. Like everybody's like, Kwame put you on. I said he put me in a room and
mm,
then he put me in a room and then that was it. And that's how my career started. Like I went from that to ghostwrite and then I became an underground artist because I met um, the Cellar Dwellers from Loud with Steve Rifkin. And, Cellar Dwellers was like really, they lived in the area and they were local artists that was like on a major label, quote unquote. And then, and I always looked up to my man UG. I looked up to him heavily. Like he was like a lyricist from like out of this world, him and my man Gage. And Gage knew artists from, Canada. And it sort of like just branched out. So I saw things opening. Then I started doing dub plates of reggae artists like, Jixie King, Sprague Benz, and, you know, and when you're in these rooms, you open a window and let God in, and then you just do what you do. But humility is always the key. I never,
mm.
even to this day, um, they'd be like, "Oh, you sold how many million records? How many plaques you got? How many awards you got?" I act like none of that exists. And it's not that it doesn't. I appreciate every plaque that I scratched for. I appreciate every record that I saw. I appreciate every person I met. But it doesn't define who I am. I'm Etcetera. That's who I am and who I was and who I'm always going to be. And everything from I was everything from a nobody to a somebody. So why can't and when I was a nobody, somebody talked to me. So now that I'm somebody, I can talk to nobody. So why can't we develop? Because some of the people, when I was on Universal, some of the people that were interns are now program directors that play my record like 700 times a day or 700 times a week. So, you can't determine who's going to be who at the end of the day. Because some of the people that told me that I wasn't going to do anything now follow me on Instagram or watch me walk these red carpets.
Mm.
While they're home. We're talking about, oh, yo, he was all right. Yeah, I was. I was all right. And one of my phrases, and I don't usually get very I don't usually get very, arrogant, but I say to myself, excuse me, well, I told someone, you told me back in the days I couldn't rhyme for nothing,
Mm.
but now I can't rhyme for nothing. And he
Oh
was
yeah.
like,
'Cause you said, yeah.
so,
That's great. Oh, that's great.
so,
No, I
so
love
I was
flexing
like,
on my haters too, bro. Like sometimes you just
it.
have to.
And what's so crazy, that wasn't a hater. That was just a person that knew their limitations and put their limitations onto me.
Mm.
And I was like, don't do that because you never know what somebody can become if you just, let them walk. And I'm not hood, I'm not street, I'm none of that. I know those people and I don't down anybody. And I take them people on the road with me. But, because I want them to see the world. And some of them change their lives around.
Mm.
And they're like, they got businesses, VPs and stuff like that now. And they're like, whatever you want, etc. I'm like, true. So I like to see that. I like to turn people into because there was a lot of people that blocked me from doing stuff. They did. But you know, and the
It's
beat goes on.
yeah, you gotta just keep it pushing, and people get discouraged too, and shit gets tough. I mean, like, you gotta be in it for the long. And the thing is, if you truly love it, like, you're gonna stick with something, like, no matter how bad something gets. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's been some bad times. Don't get me wrong. There's some times I wish I'm like, oh my gosh. But you know what? I love this. I I would do this for free because it's my therapy.
Mm,
And, it's just what I do. And people people look at me differently from how I look at myself because I guess they just see the result. I've been in it long haul. I've gained some friends, I lost some friends.
mm.
And I guess that's just how it works. But, at the end of the day, I have to remain who I am. I have to make sure that, things keep rolling. And if you love something, you, you you're not afraid to let it go. You try not to, but you're not afraid to let it go. And or you're not afraid to make it more than what it is. And
Mm.
I do.
No, that's important too, man. Like, you gotta keep it. Like, it's your craft. It's your therapy. Like, some people try to make it.
Yeah,
I feel like people too. Like, they get into it for the wrong reason. Like, almost like it's a quick side hustle. Like, I'm talking about, like, music, podcasting, all that stuff, media.
yeah,
I see it in
yeah.
my field too. Like, I have a media company, and I see a lot of my competition. Like, they'll overcharge, then they'll underdeliver, and that's like a norm. Almost to the point, like, I went to a Latip meeting, and I'm not like a fan. I'm not
Mhm.
a fan of those types of
What
groups.
is that? What is that?
Latip is a it's a business networking group where
Uh,
you have to pay like an annual fee and then a monthly fee, and you have to basically like get members in the group business. So you're essentially like an unpaid salesman for like other businesses in your group, and then you get fined like a
okay.
dollar a week or something if you don't get like 5 referrals for like someone in the group.
Serious?
Yeah, not even kidding. Yeah, I was invited to go by a potential client to one, so I just went to the meeting and gave my pitch and left. But, I'm not really impressed with
Interesting.
that. Yeah, so like, but I mentioned I was like, I'm, a multimedia company, and everyone in the room had like a collective sigh because a lot of these guys, they'll come in, promise you the world, overcharge, and then underdeliver. Whereas,
Yeah.
for me, I'm just like,
That's
hey, listen, I can help you with this. It could work out, it could not, but it's a good advertising. This is a good way to advertise your business in the 21st century. Like, do you want to do it or not? And, I give them an affordable price, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But a lot of people that are interested in, especially like social media or video or like audio, they're in it to make the quick buck quick. And it's like, sometimes you gotta compete on price, sometimes you gotta compete on quality, and if you're the new kid on the block, you have to kind of find your niche and set yourself apart from
mhm.
the competition, especially if someone has like a brick and mortar. So a lot of people are in it just for quick, because it's quick money, and that's an attitude that doesn't get you far, whether it be music or media production. You can't be in it for like the quick money. You have to be in it for something that there, it pays out, don't get me wrong, but it's got to be something you like to, and you got to treat people right as well.
You have to. It's a big thing. It's a big thing. Um, but the overprice and under deliver.
Mm.
I mean, that's in every market from music to, Fortune 500 companies. People just want to make the money, and I understand that, but it soon runs out. Like,
Mm.
I hate to say it, but I stopped chasing money years ago, and people, and I think I've gained more by doing that than by looking for quick money.
Mm.
Um, I'm gonna example if it is somebody told me two things, two lessons I've learned because this game is all about lessons and who's willing to give you jewels. It's like you, you keep chasing money, the money keep running. That
Mm-hmm.
was one big thing. I think I heard that from a record exec, and I heard it from Jada Kiss. Um, Also, I remember one time I brought a artist, I mean not artist, a producer up to the label. Um, and the producer said, I said, yo, this is a dope record. He said he knew because I was on a major label. I'm not going to mention the producer or the label,
Mm.
but I went up there. We had a meeting. Um, the general manager came with the finance officer, and she came with the checkbook. She opened it up. He was like, "Oh man, I'm gonna get paid," and I was like, "Okay." And he said, "Etcetera, I want you to sit right here, and I want you to understand what this game is all about because you're a grocer. A grocer means someone that makes money,
Mm.
right?" And I said, "Okay." He said, "But you're also kind of naive in the game a little bit. Like you do it because it's fun, but you have to understand it's two words to this. It's music and it's business." And I said, "Okay." So I sat down. It's like some years ago, and he said, he asked the producer. He said, "Okay, you want this amount of money for your track, right?" He said, "That's a lot of money." I said, "Okay, no problem." And labels say things are a lot of money. You just can't come in there and say, "I want 15, 20, 30, $50,000 for a track," and you have no track record. So he said to him, he said, "I'm willing to pay you the money that you want. But first, before I do that, I need to get some finances right, and I need to see what am I getting for my money."
Mm.
So we asked a series of questions. He says, how many platinum records have you sold?" He says, "Zero." He told the financial officer, "I need you to write down every number because I need to match the numbers." He said, "You have zero platinum records. How many Grammy artists have you worked with?" Zero. How many songs made more than $50,000 with your name on it?" He says zero. How many how many PRs have come to you and wanted to put you on records? Zero. How many artists have you worked with that because of you, they're now, let's just say they sold 250,000 records, not even gold or platinum. Zero. He said, "Okay," and I'm not gonna say her name. He's all a financial officer. "Add that up and write him a check."
Right, we check for $0.
Exactly.
What was his reaction when he got that?
He got the check he wanted. He got the check. It came from the label that he was so hype about. But but his face was like, he said, "Because you haven't done anything to say you want something. So what are you worth?" When you act, because people ask me all the time, "What's your budget?" Um, I was always told if someone asks me what's my budget, then they don't know their worth. Or number two, they don't have any money. And 99% of the time, that's been true. So when
Mm.
people ask me from their budget, what my budget is, I usually walk away because I have like the thing about a music label or industry, they have everybody there that you need. Only reason why artists go outside is because they want to put people on and they don't want to use the same people that everyone else uses.
Mm.
But what you don't really understand is these artists are now going to pay out their pocket, and if because the labels are not paying for them, the labels are not paying for these external people,
Right.
right? So they're paying out their pocket. So when you talk about you're paying and not delivering, that artist is slowly losing money. So you say, Anthony has a great company, but if that artist has paid five people that's underachieved, you're like, "Why are you not using me? Why are you using the label? I can do it." Because it's not really you. It's that I'm tired of paying out money and I don't have it to give and I have nothing to show for it. Because
Facts.
don't
Yeah.
get me wrong, when we go back to that label and they're like, "So how did it work out?" You're tired of getting the disappointed face. So that artist has to now either get that money and now they have to recoup the money they keep losing. So why keep losing when you go stay at the label? That's why there really is no people that get like a lot of opportunities
Right.
because it's more people that overprice and underdeliver than people that do. This is why when I tell you about the interns and stuff that do stuff for free and they got a stack of things they've done, they already did it for free and weeded out what they can't do. And now they tell you what they can do. And it's like, here, I can do this. I can promise deliver this. I can guarantee this. And those are the people that we go, here's the check.
Mm.
Because I don't have to worry about it. I have to call you. I don't have to wonder if you did this. Nothing. So this is where that whole dynamics come from, where the the new guy doesn't get anything ever because now he's trying to start his business, but nobody of a certain magnitude is listening. Because for what? What can you I don't want what you can do, think you could do. What can you guarantee me?
Well, yeah, you need
Same thing with
experience.
PRs.
You need
Yeah,
experience under your
but
belt.
this is the thing. Nobody's willing to work for free. But how are you not willing to work for free when, like I gave you the example, you don't have anything to work with? Like I can charge $100,000 for a verse, a feature, because I've made my name can pull you $300,000, 300,000 sales. My name can pull you this many sales. This is why a lot of people, new people, like, I can't really work with him because he's going to charge this. I never told you I was going to charge you anything. Like, I don't need you to be on a record. Like, if my thing is, I want Shakira. I want, like, right, you know, I want Sabrina Carpenter. I want Taylor Swift, on records. Like, I got, Trisha Covington, which was a R&B legend. She's on my record. So why do I need the chick over here? I got Kaya Jones from the Pussycat Dolls on my record. So why do I need you? Like, why am I gonna pay you when I got them? You know what I'm saying? So this is where people seem to get it twisted. And I'm featured on, you know, um, the hottest chick that's in Australia right now. So this is where we're at as artists. But when we reach back and say, yo, we're not doing this because, you know, we want that money. Nah. Like, I was the brand ambassador for Lamborghini Champagne. What at one point in time do the people feel that I would need to go with you? Like, I'm doing it because I was there at one time. And when the Busta Rhymes was coming through the studio, when the Talib was coming through the studio, and the MC Lights was coming through the studio, and they were like, "Yeah, you cool, you are people, but you're not gonna be on my record." What I could do was I used to write records and give it to them for free,
Hmm.
you know, and then I built up my repertoire. And I used to write records. Either they took them, didn't, some didn't take them. But those that did, I built up my repertoire and I saw what I was selling and what I was good at. And then they're like, okay, I need you on this record because you did that for them.
Hmm.
Oh, you did this for them. That's how you build it. And sometimes you got to sacrifice, but nobody wants to sacrifice anymore. And you talking about millionaires are not sacrificing and zero heirs are not sacrificing. So the people that are millionaires going to stay millionaires and the people with no money going to stay with no money
Hmm. Sometimes,
because
yeah.
nobody, yeah. I ain't sometimes. So
Well,
I know more millionaires than I know zero heirs.
fair enough.
So I kind of know this part. I've
So,
been around a little bit.
so what I have another question for you. So
Sorry.
when you were in your what was like a defining moment of your career? Like what's something that you're really proud of or something that you really took away from your time, as a musician and a creator?
You have to explain that because there's a lot of defining moments.
Oh, like just like one that comes to mind, one you really want to share with people.
When Prince knew my name.
When Prince knew your name.
Yeah.
Shit. Okay, tell that story. What was that like?
So I was at I was it was during Grammy week and I went to this place called Key Club
Okay.
and the Roots were performing there. Um and I went upstairs, someone walked me upstairs, they said, I want to introduce you to somebody. And I'm not gonna tell you the story. I'm gonna just tell you the story you asked of. So I walked in and I was like, he said, I want to meet, I know you always want to meet this person, right? I said, oh, is it Michael Jackson? Right? And it was like, no, it's not Michael Jackson. And when they turned around, he said, hi, etc. I was like,
Blown
oh,
away.
yeah. Yeah. And I stood there And I was like, I'm sorry, Mr. Nelson. Um, I we were joking around, and oh my God, oh my God. And he was like, how you doing? And he knew my name. Um, I thought that was like after that, I think I bought every Prince record that ever existed. Like I had some, but I even talked to my man because I know Kwame is a big Prince fan, and I was like, and now I'm like, because when we were recording records, he used to have me watch Under the Cherry Moon. I was like, what are we doing here? Right? He's watched Purple Rain. We used to watch all types of Prince concerts and stuff. And he was a bigger fan. Then when I met Prince, I went and got like the Black Album because Prince has a Black Album, which is a UK version. I got it from my engineer, Cuss. He was like, yo, get the Black Album. We had to like, call this person. It was almost like some type of drug deal to get the album. Yeah, so and that was a defining moment. And I'll just give you one more. A defining moment is when I walked the carpet, the red carpet, um, and I thought I was the shit. I don't know if you could curse on this. You could bleep that out.
No, you could curse on
Um,
this. I don't care.
I thought I was the shit, and I walked over and I took pictures and I was like, oh yeah, click, click. It was like, etc. Look this way, etc. Look that way. I'm like, click, 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 click. And I was in my prime. I was a prime time. I'm still doing it. Like I still walk on carpets. I still do it. Just after that time, I walked on a carpet like three times after that, and humility kicks in. But that time, I walked on a carpet, and I was like, "Hey, what's going, yo?" And there's somebody called a handler,
Mm.
and like my PR was with me, but it's somebody called a handler, and I was like, "Okay." She says, "I want you to do me a favor. I can't walk this way, but I don't want to leave you. But if you go to that person right over there, they're going to take you to your seat and I will meet you at your seat. We will take more pictures. We will do more interviews because that's what they were hired to do. They just had to do something that they had to do. So I walk over to this guy and I say, "Hey, how you doing?" He says, "Hey, how are you?" I said, "I was told by the handler you're going to take me to my seat." And women are screaming, like, "Hey, how you doing?" He said, "You must be somebody." I said, "Yeah, I'm Etcetera. How are you?" I said, I'm here at the Grammys. I'm living the dream." And he was like, "I saw you being interviewed by like every person on the carpet." I'm like, "Yeah, it's dope." So he's talking to me and I said, so I need you to take me to my seat because I want to be down. So when the show starts, I want to be sitting already. He says, "I don't think I'm the person that's going to take you to your seat." I said, "You told me you was, so come on, let's do it, man. Let's not go through this." So then my my road manager walks over to me and goes, like behind the guy, but in front of me talking about no, no. I said, "What are you talking about? No." He said, "Come on." So the person that I was telling to take me to my seat was Tony Bennett.
Oh man.
And I said, he said, "Sorry, Mr. Bennett. I think he got the wrong person." He says, "Nah." He said, and he said my name, but he only said it because I said it to him. And I was like, and I looked at him again because I got my I got I'm hot right now. I'm hot. I'm millions. I'm like, oh, and I'm like, I said, "Mr. Bennett, I am so, so sorry." And everybody know Tony Bennett passed away
Mm.
this year. So I just want to say, God rest his soul, Tony Bennett, one of the greatest that ever did it. Um, and I only told that story once other time, but I then he pops up I'm sitting in the chair. He pops up for a Target commercial during the Grammys, and he's with Stevie Wonder, and he walks out and he goes, "I'm glad you found your seat." I said, and I didn't say anything. I just looked straight forward. And people's like, "Who's this talking to?" I was like, "Oh my God." So I was like, I said, "Okay." And then I went over and then I went straight to San Francisco a couple of years later and I went to the Tony Bennett they have a like a big um at this hotel they have a big statue of Tony Bennett. So I have a Tony Bennett. I took a picture in front of the thing. The thing I went to the conference room, took a picture with his plaques, and I sent it to him.
That's awesome.
I was like, I'm so sorry. He said, I remember you.
I
And
remember you.
then, I saw him at another Grammy Awards and I apologized again. And I've never seen him after that. And then they told, I looked on my news clippings and they said he had passed away because I met his son.
Oh,
You know, I
wow.
met his son there. So I was like, wow. Because I told the story to his son
It went
and I was
crazy.
like, yeah, and I was that. So you talking about defining moments. These are defining moments.
That's awesome, man. Hey,
Yeah,
listen, we only got 4 minutes on the timer left because Zoom
got
sucks.
you.
Why don't you tell the folks where
So
they could find you and listen to you?
Well, right now you can find me on BMF. I have a song on BMF called "Is That Mic On?" One of the highest streaming songs on BMF stars. Thank you to 50 Cent, Franchon Corbett, Derek Thornton, Big Tank, Sony Music, United Masters. Thank you. You can find me there. Season 2, episode 2. You can find me on iametcetera.com. You can find me on the real Etcetera on Instagram, you know, and looking forward to everybody coming out to my album release in Los Angeles, February 2nd during Grammy week.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much for coming on Backpacking America. It was a pleasure to speak to you again, as
Yeah.
always. And
Backpack America forever, baby.
yeah, let's get it. Yo, and thank you to everyone listening to episode
Thank you.
278.
278. Play that number, everybody. It
Play
might come
that.
out in a Powerball or something like that.
Yo, I'm gonna do that next time I play Powerball. I'll play 278, see what happens.
278. Let me write that number down real quick. Well, thank you so much for allowing me to be on, and I really appreciate it. And you're one hell of a guy. And I appreciate the time you allotted to me, man. And I appreciate your audience for even listening to me.
Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate that as well, and I'm looking forward to talking to you soon. And hopefully, you'll come back on the show after your album
I
releases.
will. After the album come out, yeah, we talk about how I did.
Excellent. Oh, great. I'm excited to hear it.
All right.
Bye, guys. Have a good